Well, hi, this is Randy, and we're back again. We're about ready to finish this up. These are our post-installation tasks that we want to do. Now, I did remove one thing from the list. In my earlier list, I had to install the Open VM tools, and between videos, I did some reading on that, and it looks like that isn't necessary or required for installing pfSense on Hyper-V, so I took it out of the list. Okay, but other things that we want to do is we want to look at how to create an account for ourselves, how to do updates, look at packages, and what I want to do is I don't want to make this video real lengthy because you've got a functional system now. You can screenshot or checkpoint it or uh, do whatever you need to do, and if you make mistakes, you're in a fully recoverable situation now. So I just want to overview it with you. So what we're looking at here is referred to as the dashboard, and it is customizable. You can you can take away widgets, you can add widgets. In other words, after you've read this and you understand this, if you wanted to take that away, you could do that. You could come up here and you can add other widgets, all kinds of cool stuff. And as you install different packages onto pfSense, you'll get more available widgets. So that's pretty cool. Another thing that's pretty cool here is over here it goes out and looks at your current version, and it says that there is an update available, and you can click on this and it will initiate an update. Now, it does require internet access, but it also requires internet access just to tell you this. And so the fact that it's telling you this is a good sign. It means that your pfSense was able to go out to the internet to query and to look at what's the current version, compare that to its version, and say, oh, there's an update available. So very easy to update. You'd click on that, it'll take you to another window. It'll go through and update it to the latest version, and then it'll prompt you to reboot. To create an account for yourself, that's up here off of system. By the way, as we go through these menus, if at any time you want to get back, you just click on pfSense here and it takes you back to the dashboard. Okay, to create an account for yourself off of system, user manager, you can see our default administrator account. If we wanted to change that password, we could do that here. We've also got this breadcrumb trail across the bottom, across the top, excuse me, and we can use that for navigation. So if we want to create an account for ourselves, we'd click on Add, and we'd create that an account. Now, one thing to mention when you do that, if I can scroll down, if I can show it to you down here, all of the top part is real straightforward, name and password. A lot of optional here, but this is the one thing that's kind of a got you here. Over here we've got whatever groups exist, and over here we've got whatever groups the user is going to be made a part of. And there is only one default group at installation. It's called admins. And so when you create an account for yourself, be sure and highlight that, and then click down here to move to the members of list, and that makes you a member of the admins group. And that's what you need to have full authority. Okay. The next thing we want to talk about is hardware encryption. And it's kind of a new thing. It got quite a bit of attention with pfSense here recently. There was talk that the next version 2.5 would require AES-NI down here. It turns out that not yet, that 2.5 is not going to require that, but perhaps in the near future. Okay, but to use this as a gauge to tell you that it tells me that it's available, but it's currently not enabled. And just to show you how to do that, and also get kind of a report here of what CPUs it identified for us. Okay, to actually turn on hardware encryption, we go to System, we go to Advanced, we go to Miscellaneous, and then we scroll down under Hardware Cryptography here. And you can read about the different choices here, which one you'd prefer. There's a lot of good documentation that you can select on those. Well, you might be thinking, well, Randy, when's it useful? One of the places that maybe, I guess the only place that I'm currently using it is when we install OpenVPN. OpenVPN is an excellent tool to put on top of pfSense that allows you to do VPN, and you can tie hardware encryption to that, and you can also tie certificates to that. Now, they are two independent things. I didn't mean to say they're one and the same. Being able to do hardware encryption is an advantage for performance purposes. If you have a high-speed network, the hardware encryption will let you push that network faster than if you're doing no encryption or software-based encryption. So actually, no encryption would be fast, but if you're doing encryption, hardware-based encryption should be faster for you. And then certificates is, didn't mean to tie those together. Certificates is something that we can do when we install OpenVPN. OpenVPN is an excellent choice here. You can see it's already got a drop down for it. Okay, so just what else? Packages. If we go to System and we go to Package Manager, there's a long list of stuff here. And again, you need internet access to view this list. There's a long list of stuff here that you can put on. And later on in your site training, we do a number of these. We do the OpenVPN client is a nice package that works with OpenVPN. We do the NG blocker or PF blocker NG for different kinds of security filtering. There's Suricata, which is used for IPS, IDS filtering. There's some amazing stuff here. There's a Snort. Well, here's a long list. Okay, so and this is how you install them. They once they're installed, they show up over here. Had we installed OpenVM tools, we would have found it over here, and then it would have showed up over here. And then you come back periodically, and if they need to be updated, then the icon will tell you, it goes yellow, and it tells you that they have an update available. Okay. To test internet connectivity, we can go here to diagnostics and we can go down to ping. Great tool. And it asks us what do we want to ping, and we can put in an IP address here. If you want to also test DNS, you can put in a name. If you want to ping based upon IPv4 or IPv6, you can do that. If you want to pick which interface you want to use, you can do that. There's also traceroute in here. Routes. And it scrolls down some more. There's traceroute. You know, I like pfSense because of it's freely available and we can teach it and you can go home and deploy it. But you could build a pretty strong portfolio for your IT career by having a good working knowledge and troubleshooting knowledge of pfSense. Lots of stuff here. Our goal with your project that you're working on right now in the first year of site is just to introduce it to you, get you familiar with installing it, and we're going to walk away from it there. We're going to use it, and we may come back and do more stuff with it, but we're pretty much sticking with a basic default install. Okay, now having done all this and having it working, well, I've tested it from pfSense. If I go now to my Windows machine, so I'm now on my Windows machine, I ought to be able to get out to the internet. I ought to be able to do stuff. And so again, we can use ping. And we haven't enabled IPv6, so we're just working with IPv4. So that's pretty much it. Now you may think, well, that's a lot of videos, and yes, you'll get much more fast. Your speed will improve. I think that if we do a deployment here, the production deployment of pfSense, we can do it in about a half an hour, start to finish, all the updates, all our configurations. But in the video, we take our time to be able to try to explain things as much as possible. And of course, in class, we can ask questions. And of course, in the second year of site, you'll come back and work with this in greater detail and install more packages on it. So that's it. I'll wrap this up, and we'll get these videos packaged up and available to you, and you can use them then as a reference for installing and completing the basic installation of pfSense. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.